Buenos dias, Gunners Collective TV. Back at it, you already know. Like a torta with some bad habits. Bye up, bye up. Let's get to the intro. Welcome back to the channel. And if you haven't already hit that like and subscribe button, make sure you go ahead and do that. Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directing the direction of the dope content that the gun stays kicking. And I appreciate all the support, man. I'm very humbled by it. So did everybody get it wrong? Does everybody have the Rebecca and Jake Haro case wrong? Does everybody have the Emanuel Haro case wrong? Are we wrong? Did they get it wrong? Is everything mixed up? Is it a Bretton Woods song? Are the fools mixed up? Well, I'm here to tell you one thing and one thing for sure. We don't have it wrong. They had it wrong. Okay, let me get down to it and explain it to you. I came across a story. There was a couple of counselors when Jake was first convicted on his first child cruelty case with his daughter Carolina, aka Promise. Okay, justice for Promise first and foremost. Fuck Jake. Hashtag, you know what it is, right? And these counselors passed Jake with flying colors and his flying guitar, flying colors, a 7 out of 7, a 4 out of 4, meaning that when he went to these counselors, he is so diabolical and such a narcissist and such a liar that he was able to manipulate these professionals into believing that he was a changed man, that he had a very low and minimal rate of repeating child abuse. Now, I'm here to tell you, they do it once, they do it over and over again. How many times has the system failed these children? How many times has the system put a veil over the eyes of people like us into believing that people can be reformed that are child abusers or people that hurt children? Okay, I've seen people that were drug addicts change for the better. I've seen people that had violent temperaments and displayed violent behavior change. I've seen people that were alcoholics not take another drink and give themselves to their higher power. I've seen a lot, but I've never, ever seen a child abuser change, because that is not something that you just do on the norm. That is not a normal thing, like going to buy a drink or even using drugs, which isn't really normal, but you get what I'm saying. Being an abuser of a child, being an having assaultive behaviors towards women, being a reckless individual, right? When it comes to children and domestic situations, you don't just stop or change that. It takes more than counseling to change that. That is a sickness. That is something that is embedded and instilled in that person, because for the most part, most of these individuals that continue to do these things is based upon it's just in them, and we don't know what chromosome that is. And another reason is because that's just a disease that they have. That's just maybe in their past they went through a traumatic experience or they suffered the hands of abuse, and so they basically live that life. They put out that same energy. They what is that called? They project that. Jay Caro, though, was failed by the system. He was passed by the system onto us, and of course, into the life of baby Emmanuel. This man should have never been around children ever again. But instead of the courts holding him accountable, they gave him that slap on the wrist. That judge was reckless. What that judge decided to do by letting that man walk away with just a slap on his wrist, he should forever have to go to sleep every night wondering, is he responsible for what this man did? Lightweight, partially, yes, he is. We all are as a community, because when we recognize these patterns and these dangers of people that are yelling and screaming at their children, that are hitting them, that are abusing them, it's up for us as a collective and a community to step up. Now, it was brought to my attention that there is a new bill in the process of hopefully being passed, and I stand behind it. There's a petition going around. I'm going to get at my source and try to get that petition so I could put it up here on my channel if I am able to get it. And it is the Emmanuel Law, a new law that is written and being trying to be passed and brought up to Congress. And it is a great law that was written by very well-versed and professional individuals that care, that really care about children, and not only baby Emanuel, who of course is in our prayers. And I'm glad that we can keep his name going by putting something concrete in behind his name, because that baby needs his name carried on forever, because Jake and Rebecca definitely are not doing that. That judge definitely didn't put himself in a position to dissuade this man from thinking that he could get away with murder and child abuse after what he viciously and violently did to his own daughter. Now we know over a serious amount of time, 7 months, what him and Rebecca did to their son. And yes, Rebecca, you fat bitch, you are just as guilty. Excuse my language, but I don't have no added preservatives over here, and there's no filter. So if you're not really into that, see you later, right? But for those of us that stand 10 toes down the same and don't have no remorse for individuals like Jake Harrow and Rebecca, Kaile homies, it's all good right here on my channel, right? Gunner has entered the chat. And I'm a little bit different because I'm very passionate. I got compassion for children. I got compassion for people, regardless of race, ethnicity, disabilities, gender. None of that matters to me. A person is a person. A human is a human. And everyone should be given the God-given right of respect and treated accordingly. You are judged and treated according to your actions. It's like when I meet you. If you're a good person, hey, I'm not giving you a first chance or a second chance, because there never was that first one. It's just all love from the gate. If you mess it up, then I move on in my life, because I don't need that temperament and I don't need that negativity. When it comes to Jake, we don't need these type of people. And Rebecca, the enabler, we don't need her as well. Now, I'm getting some information from different sources saying that Rebecca might be in more hot water and she might have bit off more than she can chew. Not only with this story she made up. Hola, he punched me in my eyes. The bitch still has a black eye. I've seen people get black eyes that last for years. She is that. Okay, she falls into the black eye category for reals. In fact, she just got another one, according to my sources. And look, this is a fact now. She was assaulted in the medication pill line. We'll get to that right now. That is a fact. It did happen. I actually talked to someone who was in that county jail. And no, they were not an inmate. I'll leave it like that, right? Sources upon sources. Sources giving sources piggyback rights. That is what we have to rely upon in this situation, secondhand information, because unless you're right there on the scene when the thing happens, unless you're the cucaracha on the wall, it's always going to be secondhand information. I'm hating the fact that people, and yes, I said the word hate, and I use that term loosely, but I'm hating the fact that people get mad when it's secondhand information. Hey, it's always going to be secondhand information. Always. It's just the way it goes. Now, concerning this new law that I hope goes into effect and is passed through Congress, it is called the Emmanuel Law. And the whole basis of this law is to keep his name alive and also to prevent other children from going back to a home of a known child abuser, someone who was convicted. If this law was into effect, then Jake Harrow, not necessarily Rebecca, because she doesn't have it on her jacket, but Jake Harrow would have never been allowed to be around children after having a willful cruelty, on a child on his case. So I hope I'm fully supportive. I'm going to sign the petition. I hope to get a hard copy of the petition, and something digitally that I could put up on my channel, so that way those that want to know what the whole law entails, or what they're trying to get passed, and that are for it, can read the fine print, because I don't want to just speak on it. I want to be about it. I think it's time to just stop talking and to actually start taking action. I'm glad that these people have it in their heart to pursue this, and I'm for it and I'm behind it 100%. I've also received an email from a female that is very into this story. She's very into this case. Hopefully me and her can collab in the future on something that's going to shed a lot of light on the timeline of baby Emmanuel's demise, right? I hate to do it, but at the same time, it's something that must be done to bring awareness. Now, who got it wrong? We know the judge and the district attorney definitely got Jake wrong, right? Do we got it wrong as people prejudging Jake and Rebecca in this case? There's a lot that's been going on. There's a lot of people, especially the one that got at me yesterday and said, hey, calm down, give them their due process. I could say this, if it was a robbery case or a murder case or a simple assault case or something like that, I would want to hear the facts. You got to give every person the benefit of the doubt. But when it comes to children, you cannot waste time. See, any margin of time is too much time when it involves children. If you leave a gap, if you give a person that is a known child abuser time to be around a child or time to a time to breathe without pressure, then that could be the time in which a kid is murdered, right? In Jake's case, yes, he manipulated the system and they gave him too much love. The slap on the wrist should have been a slap in the face, because it basically slapped us all in the face. Those that have children, those that are parents, those that care. It was kind of like a situation where we're going to put another weirdo child abuser out there on the streets to be around children, and not necessarily his own. Unfortunately, that's the way it worked out. You know, that baby Emmanuel never had a chance because his father was a piece of shit from the gate, previously to him even being born. And his mother was so sprung on the dick, she could not protect her own child. She refused to protect her child. She refuses to this day to tell us where baby Emmanuel is. She refuses to take accountability for what happened to that child in or around that home. She refuses to be a woman. She refuses to point the finger at Jake. She refuses to point the finger at herself. Well, I'm here to tell you, if you won't do it, I will. Rebecca, you're scandalous. You're a dirty individual for that and that only, right? Whatever she's done, her past transgressions in life, I don't care. I don't care if she's a hoe. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if she liked to Netflix and chill while smoking that pipa. I don't care about any of these things, because these things are just based on popular opinion. We don't know these to be true. People have said that they were dope fiends. People have said that she was not a great mother. But then there's also people that say they don't even know if Emmanuel was her baby. There is no record or recollection by family members of that baby even existing. There is no records in the medical field that show that that baby has a birth certificate or was even born in a hospital. I did do a video. For those that don't know, man, look into my library the other day, I think it was last week, where I got at my sources and they told me that someone that is very close to the family explained to me that they were actually in the building, or their wife was, when Rebecca gave birth to baby Emmanuel in that living room. And that is why there's no birth certificate. And the reason being that she had methamphetamine in her system and did not want to go or arouse suspicion, not because she didn't want her baby taken from her, because obviously she took her baby from us. But even more so, she did not want them to trip on Jake, him being on probation. Scandalous woman, huh? She cares more about a man that looks like Chewbacca than her beautiful child. But, you know, we're going to go ahead and carry on that legacy. So I hope that law passes. Now, let's get to these counselors, these professionals. See, I see a lot of people on TikTok and Instagram and other social media platforms that are going in on the tira support, right? I support them. I don't care what anyone says. He's acting different. He's changed. These types of cases will change a person. These types of cases will affect people, especially someone who is a cancer patient going through what he's going through, a very unhealthy person that is out there striving, doing all that he can for a child, right? These types of cases will change you. It has definitely changed me and my platform. If you haven't recognized that, recognize it from now on. I'll say this though, right? When I see people going in on him, they're always talking about leave the job to the professionals. Let the professionals do the job. You guys are sleuths. You guys are wannabe true crime investigators. You guys think you're Inspector Gadget. Who remembers that cartoon? You guys are a lot of whatever you are, but you're definitely not a professional. Leave it to the professionals. I seen a female, and no disrespect to her, I don't know her. I actually watch her channel and support it, right? But she is basically going in on the tira relentlessly because she wants to. She's basically trying to expose him and prove that he's doing this for monetary gain. I don't see that as truth. I don't believe that. If people choose to send money to myself or to him or to anyone else to help us with our channels, That is their prerogative. Like a Bobby Brown song, they could do whatever the hell they want to do. We appreciate it and respect it. But at the same time, right here on my channel is not asked of you to do anything of the sort. All I want is your attention, please. And not your attention to bask in the ambience of myself, but your attention because there's a baby missing and there's several other kids that are going through similar situations with bad parents and bad family members around them, and that mysterious uncle that comes around every once in a while that mom seems to have every time she comes from the bar, and that mysterious stepmom that always pops up that's abusive, that these dads don't vet, and as long as she has a BBL, it's all good. No disrespect to the women with BBLs. I just threw that in there. Sometimes I like entertainment. I'll say this. These two counselors, these professionals, again, like this woman is saying, leave it to the professionals. Well, we left it to the professionals. A professional judge, he failed us. A professional district attorney, he failed us including Emanuel and Carolina Promise. These two counselors, these parenting class counselors that said Jake passed with flying colors and did not show any type of didn't show any type of, what's the word I'm trying to get, man? I fucking hate this dude. Hate talking about him, but we have to because it's spreading awareness. He didn't show anything that showed them that he would repeat what he had done. Well, I'm here to tell you, the professionals professionally got this one wrong. They were all wrong. So now it is up to us, myself, Andatira, Dubs, other content creators, even that female who I could tell has love in her heart for true crime and also love in her heart for baby Emmanuel and just wants to see justice be done the right way. We all want to see it be done the right way. Are we overstepping because we're speaking on it? Is this a jealousy thing where if someone else speaks on it and you don't agree with them, then they're fucking unprofessional? Guess what? In this world we live in, sometimes you have to get unprofessional to professionally do things. That's just how it is. See, we as a society have been putting all our efforts and all our idealisms and all our merit into these professionals, and we've been failed time and time again. Genesis was failed by the CPS system. Okay, baby Gabriel Fernandez was failed by his school teachers and the CPS system. Okay, we have kids like baby Brianna, who was failed by her uncles and her parents, and everybody that's seen these bruises on this baby's body. Failure, right? Of course, Promise was ultimately failed by that judge, that district attorney, and these two counselors that in their professional opinion, Jake proved that he was reformed. I'm going to tell you guys right now, women and child beaters don't reform. If anything, it gets worse and worse and worse until it comes to a point that we have a child missing out there in Yucaipa, that we have a woman making up fake stories, hola, right, with black eyes, that we can see the domestic issues. At the very least, this man is guilty for what he did to his daughter and needs to be held accountable in a real professional way, right? Sometimes he's going to have to go to that GPR to get professionally dealt with. I'm just saying, though, right? Rebecca has been. Now, since we're talking about professional, let me tell you how the professionals pulled up on Rebecca. It was first put out there on TikTok that Rebecca was assaulted while in pill line. I got at someone who got back at me. I reached out, didn't expect them to reach back, but they did, and expressed to me that she was going to medication line. I don't know what type of medication Rebecca takes. And for content purposes, we're not even going to speak about medication like that, but she was in the pill line. And one thing about the pill line is it's a dangerous situation. You got people that are off their rocker, people that are pretty aggressive, people that are tranquilized to a certain point, right? Walking around like zombies that take these hot meds or any type of medication. There's different types. You would think that she would have her meds brought to her, but in this case, they popped her door for pill line. She went out there. A female did recognize her from this case, and she was assaulted, allegedly, right? But not allegedly. Am I hurt by it? Am I sad for her? No. I'm sad for the fact that she will not admit or take accountability for her son, and several other people are. This is just a smidgen of what she's going to go through for the rest of her life, hopefully, while incarcerated. Because nobody, and I mean nobody, not criminals, not professionals, not anybody, likes these type of individuals that hurt innocent children. So it is my mission to bring awareness, to bring real in a professional manner. See, I can act professional, and I don't even have to have any type of certificates, because I got a certificate in street life. I got a certificate in prison. I got a certificate in the courthouse. I got a certificate in all the places that it shouldn't count, but with this case and with my platform, it really, really does. So you can't tell me about the courts. Yesterday, they went to court. What happened? Exactly what I said. If you watch my video to the T, dry run, 5 minutes, separation of legal counsel, okay? Pleading not guilty and a continuance. This is what I know because I've been there and I've done that. Not under these types of circumstances, but hey, it didn't change for Diddy, it didn't change for Cosby, it didn't change for R. Kelly, it didn't change for any person who is a professional, right? It doesn't change for them. It's the same for everyone. There are steps and standards and laws that you must abide by and go through these certain situations until court really starts breaking loose. And then it becomes an individual style of court for you and your particular case. This is how it goes, right? So again, shout out and respects to the people that wrote this bill and are trying to get it passed. Again, I will try to get the petition up as soon as the person, I'm going to ask them to send it to me. If they have a hard copy, we can make something happen. I think we all need to support this, read it closely. And if it's up, if it's your cup of tea, support it. I do right off the top, just based on it's going to keep Emmanuel's name alive. And the whole thing now is more of a focus on a conviction for these fucking dirty people that the professionals decided to say, oh, they're very good. They said that Jay Carl, one counselor said 7 out of 7. He doesn't display the characteristics to repeat these types of actions. Well, guess what? He has a son that's dead that allegedly he rolled over on. I wonder how you feel, right? I guess your professional certificate is not too professional anymore. And then we have the other counselor who gave him a 4 out of 4 and again stated, doubled down and said, this man doesn't need parent counseling anymore. This man is great with children. Yeah, okay. Okay. Did he or did you not check his knuckles on the way out that office? Your professional glasses were a little foggy. Anyways, with that being said, does everyone have it wrong? Because I'm being told by people on other social medias, people that have reached out to me, we all got it wrong. Maybe they didn't do this. Maybe they're telling the truth. Maybe you bumped your fucking head. Maybe they shouldn't have lied. Okay? Maybe Jake shouldn't have admitted it to that undercover cop during the Perkins investigation. Maybe, just maybe, law enforcement should be truthful with us. And I understand they got a professional investigation, so there's things they cannot and will not tell us due to they don't want to mess up the integrity of the investigation. I get it. I understand it. I respect it. But there's still, you can't tell us you know an approximate area where this baby is and you cannot find him. And it doesn't seem like you're looking. I don't know. That just doesn't float my boat. It doesn't bring no hardcore truth. You know, it rings, you're trying to get your mind right so you can shine right, but you're not shining. Anyways, let me know what you think. Do we all got it wrong or did the professionals get it wrong? Let me know. With that being said, I got another good video on this case coming up this afternoon. Someone we really need to focus on in this investigation that no one else really has. Some people have mentioned the name, some people haven't. But I keyed in on some good information that I think we should be looking at. Thank you. Again, thank you for all the support I'm getting. Hey, I'm all for the baby Emanuel law, and I hope it goes into effect because, again, like I said, it helps other children not have to go back to abusers and not let these type of people, once convicted, be around children. That would help a lot. Thank you, Judge. Gracias. You didn't. DA, I don't know what you were thinking. Guess you're not going to run for governor. No. In fact, the sheriff of whoever he is going to run for governor and probably win, unfortunately. But that's just the way that goes, right? Anyways, with that being said, thank you guys for all your time. I appreciate you. Make sure you go to the Dubs and Dubs channel, who also does videos on this subject. Go support my homeboy. That's a good friend of mine. Very professional in the way he speaks in his mannerisms and knowing law, right? He does have a certificate in being a paralegal while he got while in Pelican Bay prison. So he knows law like no other. Also, make sure that you go over to the Collective Clips and support my other channel. I'm on the road to 100K. Let's get it there today. The gun. Bang, bang.